All right, lesson 26, walkthrough part 2, starting at level 9. We've got our platforms going, we've got a background, we've got our score showing. We need to get our platforms to loop. So if you look down, there is no function created for it, but we need to create our own. So I'm going to go down here, I'm going to pull a function, and I'm going to say loop platforms. I called it set platforms when I looked down here. I'm just going to, I guess, I can either change it in here, or I can change it in here. But I don't actually really matter. I don't care. Platform. I could probably do both in here in one. So we can get rid of this set platform and let's call it loop platforms. And I'm going to say sets platforms back to the top if they go off the bottom. We're going to do both in one, so you can get rid of this one and delete that row. All right, loop platforms. So in this, we're going to be checking some if statements. So we're going to say if platform 1.y is greater than 400, I'm going to set it back up to the top. So put its y back to 0. I'm actually going to do like -25 to get it off the screen. Let's make sure the first one, oh, I need to call it. Ha! All right, so update. We're going to say loop. Hey, now, come on. Loop platforms. And run. All right, so we have one going. Let's get platform 2 going. Why is platform... Oh, I forgot to change these in the last video. This needs to say platform 2 all the way across. Ugh. Now the first one will reset, not the second one. Good gravy. All right, we need to do the same thing for platform 2, so I'm actually just going to copy this and paste it, and then I'm going to change the 1s to 2s. And run it and check, make sure they're working. Perfect. Next up, oh, second platform. I already did all that. We're going to finish, continue. Items. So I'm doing cupcakes. So I need to create my sprites first. And do all of the randomness that I said I was going to do with it. So if you look here, I have cupcake 1 and 2, doing some random location on the X and giving it a velocity. So let's get those going. Cupcake 1. That's big. Let's scale that down. I think 0.25 is going to be, there we go. 0.225 is going to be too big. All right, excellent. That's first cupcake. And second cupcake. I'm going to change all these 1s to 2s. Perfect. Alright, looping my items. So again, it's going to have us do this loop cupcakes in one, and they call it loop items, which is dumb, but whatever. Loop items, and both of these are going to go in here, and we're only going to do it in one function. So I'm going to hop down here, I'm going to create that function, and it's going to be loop items, which will be good because if we do add that bad item in there that takes away points, we don't have to create a whole other function to loop it. We just throw the code into here. So in here, we're going to be looking at each of those cupcakes just like this. Actually, I'm just going to steal this for now and copy it, paste it, and change it how I want it to because they're moving the same way. So I'm going to say cupcake 1 is greater than 400. For the Y, I'm going to do the negative 25. But I need to add that X back in there. I need it to come randomly back. So I'm going to say cupcake 1.x, and I'm going to do random number between 25 and 375. I'm actually going to throw that away and copy and paste this because it'll make my life easier. Now, if you want to add even more randomness to this, which I always love in a game, is a little bit of randomness, and you can take the Y value where it comes back and also change that to a random number in the negatives so that it takes a little bit longer for those cupcakes to come back. Once you start collecting them, that's going to happen anyway. We need to call this function so we can make sure that it's working. Loop items. Because they're just going to keep, if they both fall off the screen at the same time, they're going to come back at the same time, which is not super fun. Plus, it gives you a little bit of wait time. So throwing in random numbers right here and here between negative 25 and negative 100 can add a little bit more fun randomness to your game. All right, second item, we already did it, because copy and paste is our best friend today. Creating our player. We don't have a player on this screen yet, so we need to do all the stuff that we need to do for this player creature. First of all, I want to go in and do a little bit of editing of my creature. So here she is. And I'm going to duplicate her frame, and I'm going to add, I'm going to make it look like she's blinking, if I can, and her mouth is closing. So you can do a little bit of editing with the picture to make it a little bit more fun. So I'm going to use the dropper tool to grab this outer color, and I'm going to erase that mouth. Now, if you want to be super picky about it, you could do this in a lot slower of an animation with like 2 or 3 frames. I am not going to do that because it'll take too long for me to show you what I would do with this, and we don't need that. I'm going to use this color and create just a smile because the mouth is closed now. And you can see it creates this little motion in there. Now, for the blinking eyes, this thing has like dead eyes. There's no pupils in it, so I don't know if that's going to work really well. I might just leave the mouth. I'm just going to leave the mouth. I don't want to be messing with it too much. Alright, we need to create this player sprite. I'm going to name it player. And I'm going to start in the center of the screen because that's where I said I was going to start it. Set the animation to clean. It's going to be too big. Really way too big. 0.1 maybe? Oh, not big enough. 2? Too big. Good. Okay, 0.15. That I can work with. Okay, so we need to give an initial velocity, and we're going to start with that velocity of 2. And it should start falling down that screen a little bit. Great. Love it. Oh, it wants us to use the counter pattern, so we're actually going to not do this initial velocity. We're going to create a new function called player fall inside the draw loop. So I need to go down here and add a new function called player fall. Makes player fall down the screen. And call that up here. In my draw loop. And I'm going to give that player the illusion of falling down the screen by let's start with that. There we go. That works. 0.2 works. Okay. We will finish this in another video.